On the growing edge.
Here we are on the Growing Edge. My name is Ali Benjamin, and every Sunday we broadcast live. We do this on Facebook. If you're looking for something to do on Sunday morning and you're not finding it, maybe this would be the opportunity that you're looking for. I hope so. Welcome to this Growing Edge message. We're all about healing hearts, transforming lives, and supporting and inspiring conscious evolution. And so today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite spiritual practices with you, things that have helped me open up, connect with something greater, and to have a deeper connection to life itself, because everything's life. There aren't spiritual things and then non-spiritual things. Everything's really a spiritual thing. So it's really a change in perspective as we dive more deeply into things that bring us a sense of connection and a deeper sense of meaning, and allow us to live a life that we are truly happy and joyful and in love with. So let's start with a little centering meditation. And by the way, this is one of my spiritual practices, taking a deep, sacred, holy breath. So maybe you place your hands on your heart for a moment. And slow down. Bring your awareness into this moment. And let's take a deep breath together. Inhaling. Hold it. And exhale. And inhaling through the nose and then exhaling through the mouth can be really grounding. So let's inhale now. Hold. Inhale. And let your breath find its natural rhythm. As you bring all of your attention into this moment, there's nowhere to go and nothing else to do other than simply be here now, in this sweet and precious moment. It is the only moment that we have ever experienced. It's the now. And this now and that now, there's just one continuous now. And as we become aware of that, we embrace the divine. We slow down enough to feel an aliveness that sometimes we overlook when we're so busy in our lives, so focused on the outer world. And so spending a few moments simply connecting to the breath, connecting to the moment, being present. We then open up. We open up to a dimension of ourselves that is beyond the physical, beyond the mental or psychological dimension of us. And we become our essence, our being, our awareness, our consciousness. And this is a very calming and peaceful, healing place to be. Wide awake to the now. Let's take one more deep breath together. Exhale, relax the hands, and be here now. Eyes wide open, heart wide open, and welcome. Welcome if you're joining us for the first time. So happy you found us. We are a group of spiritual beings that gather every Sunday morning here for Growing Edge Live. It's our Sunday broadcast, and we go live on Facebook, and then we also have archives of our previous messages on our YouTube channel, Satya Center. And you can financially support us in this ministry, which is all about healing hearts, transforming lives, and inspiring conscious evolution, by sending us your love offering at Venmo at Satya Center, or going to our website, growingedgelive.com. And we really appreciate your support. So thank you for that. And for those of you that have been supporting us, we couldn't be doing this without you. And thank you. We've been going since 2009, and it has been an absolute joy. So thank you. But more importantly than financial support is coming together into community and feeling the love and support of each other, and having spiritual content, something to serve us, feed us, nourish us, so we stay grounded in our beauty and our truth and our joy. So thank you so much for being here today. Now, I picked this title, which is Spiritual Practices, and I posted on Facebook the question to all of my friends: what are your best spiritual practices? What are the practices that you lean on most, so that you have a better focused, centered, loving, adorable, joyful experience in your world? And I got lots and lots of feedback. So I'm going to share those with you today. And I wanted to first share with you my spiritual practices, which I do every morning, which is I simply come into my space. This is my meditation room here, and I light a candle, and maybe I light some Palo Santo or sage or sweetgrass, something to ground me and center me. And the intention behind this is to clear the space, to clear my mind of whatever's been fogging me. Maybe I'm just waking up from a dream that didn't go so well. And so it's when I light some natural substance, it helps me activate my scent, my sense of smell, that olfactory place where I get to ground into something that's deeper than my visual sense or my hearing sense. The sense of smell is primal. It's very primitive, and it wakes up a part of us that brings us so acutely into the now moment. And so try it, an incense or some sage or something like that, and that brings you really into your creature, into your body, into your little animal case here that all of us have, this beautiful temple for our soul, our body. And so we don't discount anything in the spiritual practice. The body is equally as important as the mind is, and as that spirit or the divinity in us. We're threefold in nature. We're body, mind, and spirit. And so my spiritual practice is connecting with all three dimensions of my being. And so lighting a candle, it sparks that sense of the sacred. It gives me something to visually hold on to, delight me. And then the smell of the Palo Santo wakes up those senses within me that bring me into the current moment, bring me into my body, help me to feel grounded and connected. And it also sparks my awareness. It tells my spirit to come forward. It tells that part of me that loves to connect more deeply with the divine, here we go. We're here on purpose. We're here with a particular intention, and that's to connect, to go deeper. And so sometimes it's not so easy, right? Sometimes we've had a bad dream, or we've had a really stressful week, or there's someone we're not happy with, or they're not happy with us. So we can feel really distracted. And if we've experienced a great loss or a trauma, it can be really difficult to slow down enough to be able to focus, to be able to even engage in a spiritual practice. So there's some techniques that I like to share with my clients that will help to bring your sense of hypervigilance, hyper-awareness, the anxiety and the stress, bring it down to a manageable level. And one of these techniques is called havening. Now, havening, there are several different techniques, and they're healing modalities that are designed to help individuals overcome problems that are the consequence of traumatic encoding. By the way, you can get this information from the website havening.com. The havening techniques belong to a larger group of methods called psychosensory therapies, which use sensory input to alter thought, mood, and behavior. Havening means to put into a safe place. So I love that, havening. So one of the havening techniques is to simply cross your hands over your body and to gently brush down the outer sides of your arms, just brushing down in a downward motion. And this brings you into a safe feeling place. It alters your brain. Neuroscience, this was developed by Dr. Rudin. He's a neuroscientist, doctor, that has developed these techniques to help people that are really struggling to stay in a peaceful place. There's also brushing the face. You do this with both hands. You brush the face. You just gently caress your face, and this calms you down, brings you into a safe place, and helps you connect with your heart. It helps you bring the mental activity. It calms it down, and there's a sense of taking that inner elevator from the head down into the heart. And so try this, try some havening if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling that you can't get still enough or quiet enough for a meditation. Just gently, softly do some of these techniques, and you'll see you'll come into a greater place of peace, where then you'll be able to enter into a meditative state. So meditation is simply paying undistractable attention to what is, to the now moment. We simply become really present and pay attention. And you'll notice tons of thoughts come and go. There'll be all sorts of things. This is really natural. All of us struggle with trying to quiet the mind because it's so active in most of us. That's why we have a meditation practice, so we can begin to see the thoughts and see that we're not our thoughts. We have thoughts, but we're not our thoughts. But sometimes, I know this is true for me, a thought will have me. And so instead of me having a thought will have me, and I'll become that thought, and I'll be wrestling around with that thought. And before I know it, I barely remember driving down the street because this thought has had me. And it could be a worry about the future, some anxiety, or fear about something that's to come. Whatever it is, it has me. And so I simply, maybe I'll just touch my face or do a little of the havening, obviously not while I'm driving, but I'll just slow down and I'll remind myself, okay, be here now. Just be present in this moment. Drop down into the heart. Be aware of what's going on. Be mindful. This is another wonderful spiritual practice, is mindfulness. Paying close attention to everything that's around you. Paying attention to how you're feeling, how everything that's showing up in your world, the things you're seeing, to be with those things now. Wonderful place to be is outside in nature, to be mindful of the trees and the warmth of the breeze or the coolness of the air. whatever's going on the outside in the natural world, and we're just a part of that natural world, we begin to ground ourselves and become more available to the goodness of life, the goodness of God that's always presenting itself when we're present, when we're mindful, we're more aware of it. And so mindfulness is a wonderful spiritual practice. Another practice is self-inquiry. The mind can get so busy, it can overtake our lives, it can hijack us, and a thought can get a hold of us. And so we can simply ask, is this true? Is this thought really true? Do I want to continue thinking this thought, believing this thought, because it might not be true? It might just be residue from my past. It could be my old conditioning bumping up against my growing edge, who I'm becoming. It might be something that wants to be cleared out and released and let go of. And that's up to me to do. So I inquire. You can do this too. You simply ask yourself some questions. Because what I know is life is always for us. And so if something's coming up, if there's a challenging thought that's coming up, it could be because your higher self, your soulful self, simply wants to let this go. But your ego is used to holding on to it. So you ask yourself some questions. What is this? What is this for me? What is this thought for me? Is it even true anymore? Is it something that I'm ready to release? What has it taught me? Believing this thought over and over again, having this thought, obsessing about this, is it helping or is it hindering me? Is it time to release? And so another spiritual practice is releasing things that don't serve, things that have run their course, you've outgrown, you can simply light a candle, do a little spiritual ritual, do a little ceremony about releasing. I love to go sit outside when I'm going for a walk. There's a beautiful creek, and I'll go and I'll sit on a big boulder and I'll simply just throw little bits of leaves or pebbles or whatever into the creek, and thinking all along, okay, maybe I'll have a worry. And worry does no good. It's just something that I'm projecting into the future, and it's a harmful habit. So I will, if a worry comes up, I'll simply throw a twig in and release that worry. If some anxiety comes up, a stress, I'll simply throw another pebble or leaf into the pond or into the creek. There's a pond too that I go to. And simply let it go. And there's a great release that happens when I physically throw something into the creek and just see it drop to the bottom or float off. So these are some of the practices that I know are really helpful for me. I also have a wonderful card deck or two, or I should say I have a couple of boxes full, and I pick a card sometimes. These are beautiful little decks of spiritual wisdom. This one says, trust your faith, dive into the unfolding journey. What is your faith asking you? So thank you. That's a beautiful card. So what is your faith asking you? And that kind of is the perfect segue into, like I mentioned, I put on Facebook, I asked my friends, what are your favorite spiritual practices? And the first one was from my friend Russ and Julie, and it is, may your faith be stronger than your fear. And so that's what I find with these cards. There's always a sense of synchronicity. There's always a sense that the card I'm experiencing lines up with other things that come into my life. And so this one, trust your faith, dive into the unfolding journey, goes along with Russ and Julie's beautiful spiritual practice of trusting the universe. That Russ goes on to say, we know that the Creator takes care of its creation. We know that the Creator takes care of its creation, so we can have faith in that. That's a beautiful spiritual practice. Thank you, Russ and Julie. Anne says nature. She goes out into nature, daily readings, And I'm sure that you've got a favorite book, a favorite spiritual text, always so inspiring and so empowering. And don't just rush through it. Take one spiritual piece of wisdom, maybe from a ancient text, maybe from a self-help book. Take one sentence or one premise and dive into it. Journal. It's another thing I do on a daily basis. I journal. I ask God, what would you like me to know today? What do I need to know today? And then I start writing. It sort of just happens automatically. I get all of this wisdom from the divine, my divine self, that's part of the greater divine. And so that's another way we can connect, is through reading, through journaling, and through prayer. Thank you, Anne. Deepening gratitude, says Lauren. We can deepen our gratitude. Having a gratitude practice is so important, because gratitude, along with love, is the most magnetizing energy in the universe. When we're in gratitude, we attract to us more to be grateful for. Honey shared with me the Aretha Franklin song, Accentuate the Positive. And if you haven't listened to that song lately, go onto YouTube and listen to it. It's really so inspiring and really uplifting. Thanks, Aretha. Thanks, honey. This is from Margot. Meditative release techniques. Beautiful. Active or movement prayers. Yeah, go for a walk. Go for a walking meditation and simply be in that prayer zone. A prayer zone is when you drop down into your heart. You don't let anything hinder your connection with the divine, with the matrix of life, and you simply have a conversation with the universe. You see what wants to be felt, and it's that feeling of love. You know that if you're in the feeling of love, in connection with life, that you're in a prayerful moment, and you simply at that moment identify the things that you love. That's how I pray. I just affirm what I love, and I hold it in my heart, and I activate the field. I communicate with God in that way. Living in the moment. Thank you, Mike. Helping others. What an amazing spiritual practice to help others. Sacred service. Savor. Thank you, Diane. Visioning. Thank you, Robert. Having a vision, a clear idea of who you want to be moving forward. We'll be diving into that in our spiritual practices mini course that I'll be offering next month, doing visioning and catching a vision, catching a bigger vision of who you are and what your life is becoming. It's so powerful to have that, because if we don't have a vision, if we're not clear about who we want to be and how we want to be in the world, then we're pushed by our fears and our pains and our confusion. But once we have a vision, then that vision pulls us forward into manifesting it. Yoga and prayer. Thank you, Reverend Reg. Michael's spiritual mind treatment. That's another one we're going to go into. A 5-step scientific process of prayer. Teaching a class in person. Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, being in person. If you have an opportunity to be with your tribe, to be with other spiritual folk, it's such a juicy container to be in that energy of others. So healing, so inspiring. Sending love to others. Yep. Thank you, Carla. Aligning with our core self. Yep. Meditation. Making sure my spirit overrides my mind. Thank you. Another Michael. Hey, I have a lot of Michaels on my friends, and there were so many more, but we're running out of time. So I hope that some of these spiritual practices will be helpful for you on your spiritual path as you have a deeper conversation with life. Everything's life, everything's one, everything's good, and everything's God. So peace and blessings to you today. I love you. I thank God for you. And let's go into prayer and activate that inner awareness, activate that awakened heart. Another spiritual practice is what I call heart breaths. And you can learn more about this from the Heart Math Institute. Simply become aware of your breathing, and as you inhale, draw that breath down into your heart. Expand the field of love and appreciation, and then on the exhale, exhale love. Let's do a few heart breaths. Inhale love. Exhale love. And in this heart breathing, we build coherence between the brain and the heart. And this is the perfect thing to do when you're beginning to pray, when you're beginning to communicate with God, when you're beginning to manifest, activate your creative potential in the world. You begin to get exquisitely present. So do that now with your breath. Activating the field of love. And so I speak my word right now for all of us, that we open our hearts and connect with our greater self, our divine self. We align with the truth of our being, knowing that right where we are love. We are loved. We are loving. That there is great opportunity here to broaden our perspective, to tap into the field of infinite possibilities and potentialities. So we do that now through love. And as we open up, as we become more aware, we simply see that we are at the center of our own life always. We are at the center of our own creative potential, and we activate that creative potential on purpose now by affirming everything that we know to be true. We know that there is joy in our lives, and joy lifts us up. We know that there is creativity wanting to be expressed, innovative ideas, connections that want to be made. So we simply make ourselves available to the people, places, and things that will be our next evolutionary step forward into being our highest and most brilliant expression of spirit, who we're here to be and who we're here to create and the life we're here to experience. So we simply let go of doubts, uncertainties, and have complete faith right now that life is for us, that we have within us everything that is required and necessary to absolutely thrive, to prosper, to heal, to grow in joy and abundance and prosperity and health and well-being. It is our birthright, and we simply say, thank you, God. Thank you, life. Life is good, and so it is. So peace and blessings to you. Lots of love wherever you are. Know that we have practitioners that will support you on your healing journey, on your path to awakening. Go ahead and find us on Facebook at Satya Center. Find us on the internet at growingedgelive.com. And we are here to support you, cheering you on all the time. Lots of love to you. Have a brilliant day. Go outside and connect with everything that's beautiful.